Good morning, everyone. We are continuing in the words of the Ramban as he's describing the different ideas and thoughts that a person can put inside of his mind to bring him to humility, which is ultimately going to bring him to the Yiras Hashem, the fear and the awe of Hashem. And yesterday we spoke about this concept that a person should remind himself of his humble beginnings, where he's coming from a tipa srucha, from a putrid little drop. I'm really nothing from my inception, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives and gives and gives and gives. He develops me, He forms me, He shapes me, He brings me life into this world. He gives me my talents, my abilities, everything that I have. Everything is coming from Hashem, and that itself is an awesome idea for a person to keep in mind. Overwhelming when a person thinks of all of the details of one's lives that are taken care of by God. Secondly, Lana Tahilech, where are you going to? Everybody knows they're going to end up in the same place. There's not a single person that will escape the grave, and therefore we have to look at our lives as being finite. And we have so much to accomplish while we're here in this world. And how could a person ever say that they've done enough? How much more I have to push myself each and every day. And that will keep me humble, but also with the ultimate awareness that Hashem is watching me. And now he adds another statement. You must keep in mind the following thought. And that is, the one whom you are going to stand before after your 120 years in this world, and you're going to have to give him what's called a din v'cheshbon. A din is a judgment, and a cheshbon is an accounting. And who is that one that you're going to stand before? Lifnei melech hakovod, before the King of Glory himself. Now the Vilna Gaon says over here a very profound idea. Why is the Ramban, who's really quoting the Mishnah from Pirkei Avos, the ethics of our fathers, why does he write two types of judgments that a person should prepare themselves for when they stand before the King of Glory? One is a din, judgment, and one is cheshbon, which means an accounting. What's the difference? Explains the Vilna Gaon the following. That for every act that I did in this world, for every mistake that I made, for every sin that I was engaged in, and so on and so forth, I'm going to have to give a din, and there's going to be a judgment that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring upon me for all of the mistakes that I made in the way that I used my bechira, my free will, by choosing wrong over right. So on that is the normal, regular din, judgment that there's going to be on a person. What's the cheshbon? What's the accounting? Explains the Vilna Gaon that every time that a person was using their energies to engage in sin, every time they used their mouth to say, for example, lashon hara or nivel peh, foul language, every time we ran to go different places and engage ourselves in things that we should not have done, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, now that you got caught and you did these things that are not appropriate, you have to make a cheshbon, an accounting, what you could have accomplished positively with all of the energy that you were expending on negative things. On that, you're going to be judged as well when you come to the Melech HaKavod, to the King of Glory. You spent your time the last hour being engaged in sinful behavior. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm going to judge you on what you could have accomplished during that time. You could have been doing chesed. You could have been giving tzedakah. You could have been learning Torah. You could have been davening. You could have helped somebody in need. You could have just given somebody an ear, lent them an ear that they could cry all their worries and all their difficulties. You could have done so many things, and you didn't. On that, you're going to be held accountable, responsible to give an accounting to the one above of what you didn't use your time for and you could have. When a person begins thinking like this, says the Ramban, they're overwhelmed with a feeling of humility. When we see that we pale in comparison to the omniscience and the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, And in that way, we can keep track of ourselves and we can make decisions that show that we truly believe that we are one day going to meet the Master and Creator of the world, and He's going to judge us, and He's going to make an accounting of things that we could have done better in our lives instead of wasting our energies for things that are even nonsense. And in that way, we'll be prepared after 120 years in this world to stand lifnei Melech HaKavod, before the King of Glory Himself. Wishing everybody a wonderful day where Hashem gives you the strength and the courage of character to make those decisions that will make us worthy of standing in front of this great King of Glory.